Hello and welcome to the Blueberry Funded Trader Spotlight, where we sit down with some of the most talented traders in our community and dive deep into their journey, strategies, and how they became the trader that they are today. Today, I'm very excited to introduce Shaarif, one of our most standout traders who's been making waves with their impressive performance here internally. And we're really excited to talk more to him about his journey, how he's become this trader, recently going over 25K in successful payouts, making one of our biggest traders to date, which we're very excited about. So Shaarif, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Delighted to be here, and thanks, Marcus, for having me here. It's been a decent journey with Blueberry, and I was looking up to it.
Fantastic. Well, I guess just to dive straight in, did you want to tell us a bit about your trading journey or how you originally got into trading?
I got into trading around 2020, like the early COVID era. But that time I got into cryptocurrencies and stuff. And I was more into the derivatives trading at cryptocurrencies. I wasn't into the spot holdings and so the trading journey started with derivatives trading. I just dived into cryptocurrency with derivatives trading itself. Like I used YouTube and stuff for technical analysis and to learn stuff, and so made profits and losses along the way. Mostly losses, how the journey starts. And initial days were tough, being tough for almost 3 years, but now it is. I got into Forex around a year back and into prop trading almost 7 months ago. When earlier I used to just have a go with funding tips. There you might have a competition in there, but I knew of Blueberry. I got to know of Blueberry through a Instagram ad. There was this Finanzi or some influencer just came up along the Instagram ads. There was a 100K competition, so I just signed up for it. But I even got into your dashboard. I signed up through that Finanzi trading competition in your dashboard, and I just saw, and I was like, I don't know whether this is a scam or legit. I didn't know at that time. So I just left it. I didn't even participate. Just signed up and I left it. So and later, a few months later, I saw your prop firm listed on prop firm match, the prop firm match website. That's where I realized that this is legit and I should go for it. And the first account I purchased on Blueberry, it was because mostly I trade gold. Like 98% of my trades are in gold, XAU. So there was a post from prop firm match on Instagram where they had showcased the spread of different pairs and compared it to different prop firms. So in every comparison, the spread of gold on Blueberry was like the tightest, the least spread. You offer the least spread. So that was the catch for me to start my journey with Blueberry.
Fantastic. It's quite a journey there. Interesting to hear you started trading, really 4 or 5 years ago, but now you've only really been in the FX space and the prop space for, around a year that you were saying. And I think you touched on a lot of interesting points there. And I think, well, firstly, it's great to hear that you've been able to find this success with Blueberry Funded, as your prop firm of choice.
Yeah.
And it seems like you
Blueberry
had quite a
Funded is my
journey.
first payout.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think you've gone through quite a journey to settle on us as the best firm for you. Seeing an ad, joining a training competition, seeing us on prop firm match, then seeing the spreads. It's kind of an interesting one from again, I'm talking about the business side of it here, a user acquisition standpoint, to see the amount of touch points people have before choosing a prop firm. It's not purely clicking on an ad or just seeing something on Instagram. There's a lot of checks that people do to make sure that the firm is right for them. And I'm glad it was the spreads that got you over the line. Which again, we have access to that tier 1 brokerage liquidity, which comes, in our favor and traders' favor quite a lot of the time. Yeah. But I think to follow up on sort of the start of your journey, so you were trading spot crypto for a long time, and you've been in the prop space for less than a year, and you've already got over 25 grand of payouts with Blueberry. So what's the secret? Like, how have you gone from, is there something about the technical analysis you do on crypto that is carried across into the FX side? Or sort of how have you been able to hit the ground running? Because I know a lot of people that have traded for a lot longer than 1 year in the FX space, a lot longer than 1 year in the prop space, and haven't made as many payouts as you have. So I think a lot of people listening would be very interested and keen to hear how you've managed to hit the ground running when it comes to getting payouts and working in this space?
That's a really fine question you put up there, Marcus. But I mean, in my opinion, there's no secret formula. There's no like particular strategy you could use that would work anytime or every time. Maybe you follow a strategy, or anyone who follows a strategy might have a good success rate, might have like a decent success rate, might pay out much, but there's nothing like a thing in common which would pay out. For me, I follow price action, but I don't make up charts. Like it's not like I open up a chart panel or I like make up lines or analyze it. For me, I'm like more of a scalp trader. I don't take swing positions or I don't hold overnight or weekends. My positions are like max 15 minutes, half an hour. That's it. So I just look for the bias on a very short time frame, either 5 minutes or a 1 minute chart, and mark my supply zones on the 1 hour level, maybe four max to max, maybe 4 hour time frame, and just trade on the bias on the shortest time frame available. Take my scalp and to exit the market. Keep in mind the rules of the prop firms like 2 minutes holding time and so. Because
Fantastic. No, I mean, oh, sorry, you were saying?
I mean that the major concern in the prop firm industry is like you have to follow the rules of the prop firm. Like some prop firms, they don't have a like the minimum trade duration. Some prop firms have like a minimum 1 minute trade duration, 1 minute, 2 minute trade duration. So you have to like hold at least for that.
Fantastic. And I mean, it's interesting to hear that because I think it comes back to your point before. Like, I think I was asking almost a trick question by saying, what's your secret? Because I think your answer is something we actually agree with as well, which is that, there is no one size fits all, holy grail, silver bullet, master strategy to use. It's all about adapting at the end of the day. And likewise, you've also said that, your strategy is adapted to the rules of different prop firms, including ours. We don't sugarcoat what we do. We know we're more on the conservative side, but that's with the aims of helping traders build sustainable strategies and trading for the long term as well.
Yep. You can't like just play around with the rules and be in the long run. You have to follow the rules. You have to look out for the violations and all if you want to stay in the long run.
Of course. No, it's a good point. I mean, really, adaptability is like the main role of any trader. Markets are dynamic. So therefore you have to be dynamic as well. Like even in these big schools of thought around like, specific strategies like smart money concepts, ICT, things like that, there are different ways to interpret it and apply to the market, just as one example. But I guess when you were getting started, whether it was with trading in general, when you were doing crypto, when you transitioned into trading prop firms, what were some of the initial challenges that you had when you started?
When in crypto, I was like into derivatives trading. So in crypto, we used to trade over pairs of dollars, USDTs. So I knew about forex, and I knew something that there is something like lot sizes. We have to trade in lot sizes. So I was like quite resistant. I was not into trying forex because I didn't understood the reference of the lots, and I was not like even accustomed to it, and I was not like willing to learn that something. So I wasted. I would say that I wasted 2-3 years in crypto, and it took me like really long to realize that derivatives trading or cryptocurrencies are only for spot bag holdings. You can't like just play the derivatives game and but for forex and in forex like you can have quick or even decent. You can make decent profits. That doesn't take like a long time. You can just if you can stay in the market for a couple of months, you will learn the basics and you will be profitable.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you've hit on something when it comes to lot sizes everyone experiences when they start. I remember when, a long time ago now, started working in FX and trading FX even, and, you look at it and you're like, oh, one lot, 1 unit of like a forex pair, that's nothing, that's tiny. And, you have to really do the math and do the research to understand the contract sizing and everything like that. It's a funny thing. People are still asking us on live chat to this day, people that are really new to FX and things like that. Like, well, I can only trade $1 at a time. It's like, it's not a dollar, it's a lot, and it's worth quite a bit. A lot is a lot, as I always jokingly say. But I guess, look, you've sort of approaching your forex trading strategies. So you were saying before that you trade really intraday in 15 to 30 minute sort of holding times, whilst sort of looking at supply zones on like smaller time frames. So, but when it comes to managing risk, what's your strategy around that to ensure long-term profitability?
For long-term profitability and managing risks, I had this in mind. This would come up. So I have even lost in forex. I have blown accounts, and the only thing I realized after all these days, all these accounts, and being even after making such huge profits in Blueberry, I have realized that taking the smaller lots you trade, the more profitable you could be. The smaller lots will, I mean, they will help you to manage your risk because the drawdown is like will be far away further down. At least you have a 5% drawdown if you trade on one lot gold. It will be just $5. That's quite risky because gold is volatile. But if you trade on half lots, 2.1 lots, you will be able to hold your positions. If you technically analyze the charts, you see the market might go up. There are manipulations in the market. You can withstand the manipulations and you can hold your trades. So taking smaller lots is the only way I think up there to make profits.
Okay, no, interesting. So yeah, trading with smaller volume, but allowing for patience, to
Yeah,
unfold and do its thing until you find those profits. And that's sound advice. To be honest, that's one that literally we've done. This is probably our fifth trader interview, and obviously I've talked to numerous traders over the years. But the idea of like patience and it is common sense, but I always reiterate it because it is when you're impatient, which happens to all of us. You go on that emotional streak. And things like that. It's when you're impatient, which is very easy to do, that everything goes wrong. So you can be patient 99% of the time. It's the 1% of the time that you have a lapse in judgment or your emotions get the better of you that you can blow everything, whether that's an account, a payout, or your own money in a brokerage. So it's good to see that theme consistent
I
in this interview. I'm yet to have one with a successful trader who says differently or says the opposite to that.
I'll state this on record, but if you didn't have that margin rule, 150% margin rule, now you have the max lot restriction rule. Believe me, if you didn't have that rule, I would be profitable over you. Trust
You
me on
wouldn't
that
be
one.
profitable if we didn't have that rule.
Yeah, trust me on that one. Yeah, sure.
Well, that's what we
Definitely.
want to
I would
hear
have been
because
profitable.
it's tough because it sounds like we're trying to be the bad guy sometimes by limiting people or putting these rules in place. But at the end of the day, as a trader, your worst enemy is it's not the market or other traders, it's yourself. And sometimes that's
It's
what
a
we have to
greed.
try and do is protect people from themselves to an extent. And I know it sounds very
Yeah.
overprotective, but it means a lot to come on these interviews and hear that opinion from yourself because you're not the first person who said it either. It's these rules have actually worked to help me for the long term, and it's good
100%.
to see
Genuinely.
that really playing out.
Genuinely. I mean, I'm stating it on record. If you had not imposed that margin rule or the max lot rule, I would have blown accounts right away in the phase one itself.
Let's pause here for a moment. Just as we wanted to thank you for taking the time to watch this podcast, we're going to be giving one lucky winner a 25K two-step account. In order to enter, please put a comment below with your favorite part of the interview and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get back to the podcast. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, it's and look, we've transitioned it over to the fixed lot size rule, which works to be very equivalent in a lot of ways, but just make it a bit easier for traders so they don't have to calculate a lot of different margin requirements and things before getting in the trade. But
It's
it
like,
does force you to be a bit more patient. It does force you to use lower lot sizes. And like I always say, it's not just a marketing thing for us or purely a risk management thing for us. The data shows, as much as we have a lower than average pass rate in the industry, when people do pass on these rules and when they trade in the funded account on these rules, we do see a much larger percentage of traders being profitable over the long term than what we've seen the industry average to be in other firms or in industry publications. So it's a bit of pill to swallow for a lot of traders. I know you want to get in, you want to trade to the max and really get those profits. But if all you're doing is chasing profits and it's a bit senseless, then it's not necessarily a wise thing. So yeah, it's tough to feel like the bad guy, but we believe that we put these restrictions in to lead to long-term success of our traders and therefore the firm as well, by cutting out people that are more gambling minded or just
gambling. Yeah,
chasing profits
gamblers.
and things like that, which is what we don't want. I don't think any firm in good conscience can really take that on board,
Yeah,
and incentivize that kind of behavior. So we're the complete opposite of that, and I think hearing your perspective on and shedding some light on that is actually really useful for us and good for other traders in the community to hear.
yeah, anytime.
Well, I think you've already gone over why you originally chose Blueberry Funds, and that was a very interesting pathway I think you took, and a lot of interactions with the brand, and then the spreads got you across the line, and we have a few partners to thank for that. But I guess what advice would you give to traders looking to pass our challenges in particular? I think you've talked about risk management and your strategy, but like you said before, all strategies need to adapt to different firms' rules, and we have some very specific rules here that we just touched on. But I guess, what advice would you give to new traders that have just joined Blueberry Funded, and are looking to pass, obviously get to the funded stage and get to their payout?
Well, I'd advise that now that your max lot sizes are published on your FUQs, I'd advise traders going up for challenges to, I mean, just don't take the max lot sizes. take as small lots as you can, and define a profit and a loss percentage. Like you should not, if you make a profit of like 0.5% one day, make a trading account. You stop your trading on that day. I mean, like you have booked your profits, you have made your trading day account. You should now leave it for the next day. Even in the case of loss, if you lose more than 0.5, say 1%, max 2%, you should like just give up for that day. That day is not meant for you. That is the only
Don't
advice I'd like
overtrade.
to. Yeah, don't overtrade.
It's it's timeless advice to an extent. It's just don't overtrade.
Yeah,
Again, it
and
comes down to
the
patience,
smaller,
not doing too much. Like less is more when it comes to trading. I completely agree.
less is more, always. And
I love it.
don't over risk.
I guess
The
when it
smaller
comes to,
lot
I mean,
size,
obviously,
the smaller lot size is the better.
fantastic. No small lot sizes and don't overtrade, whether you're in a loss or whether you're profitable. Just know your targets for your day in both directions and stick to it. I think it's really wise advice a lot of people can learn from. And I think, look, we've done a lot of talking about your strategy. You're over 25K in payouts with this. It makes so pretty much puts you in the upper
It's
echelon of
not
all-time
about
payouts from individual traders
it's
with
not
this. So we've heard a lot about the
It's not
success,
about
but
it's not about I
it's
don't want to talk about the strategy. There is no strategy in like to be talked about for me to
no,
talk
but
about.
that's
Like
good. It's
there's
about
nothing
being
specific.
flexible and dynamic. But
Yes, I told
that's why I
you.
wanted to talk. Sorry.
I told you whatever it is. I told you what it is. The strategy I told you. The shorter
No,
time
that's why.
frames.
Yeah, no, awesome. And I think, but what we want to know as well, though, is like it's not about the strategy that's led to your success. It's and how you manage risk with it, but it's also about like how you manage failure with it, which is a part of every trader's story, I think, in their career. And so I guess a question we ask everyone on this is, what was your biggest loss or worst period as a trader, and how did you recover from it? It doesn't have to just be with Blueberry Funded. It could be in another prop firm or even just
Yeah,
trading in general.
anywhere. It was in real accounts too, and the only way you can cope with your losses is you don't lose hope. All my life I lost hope in this one situation. I can't like talk about that particular situation, and I've been very confident over the course of my life over these 25 years. I've been very confident in anything, like either you take trading, when you take like life choices. I've been very confident. Be it right, be it wrong. I've been confident on my decisions, and it has worked out well. But there was this one time I lacked. I didn't lack confidence. My confidence was shattered due to some circumstances, and that's the only thing like I regret that particular thing. So in trading too, traders make losses. I made losses. I've made like unbearable losses too. And the only thing is you trade your way out of it. You must have like a clear mindset. You must have patience. You must trade your way out of it. You have lost. You may lose more. You may lose more, but you will win. And even a single win could uh, even a single win could like just justify all your losses. You could cover up all your losses. And once you win, once you pass a challenge, once you make a payout, a single payout, you'll have this clarity, like you have this confidence. You know the way. You might lose again, but you will have a mindset that yeah, I once cleared accounts. I once made a payout. You will have very clear mindset that this is the way I managed my risks in a particular manner. This I followed these things. So you will have to just follow the same path again. But you will be much more confident after a successful payout, whatever small, be it even 0.5 cents, even less than $1. But you know the way. That's it.
Yeah, I sort of love what you sort of hinted at before there. It's like, it takes one good trade. And that's the thing. Not to say get your hopes up and focus on just getting that one perfect trade, but if you're in a losing streak, if you've had a lot of losses, blown an account, missed a payout, something like that, really your chance of turning things around could all come down to one trade. So you just got to focus on the next trade and see how it goes. I think that's really good advice for those traders out there in terms of where their focus should be when they're on, because it happens to everyone. You have a big loss or you have a losing streak.
You can't miss losses. You can't miss losses. That's part of the game.
100%. It's definitely something that's just going to come, as we all know, with being a trader. So do you trade full time currently, or is it something you do on the side, or what's trading day to day in your life like right now?
Well, when I'm trading, I don't have like a desktop or a laptop screen. I have just this mobile Android phone device. I just trade over that, and just like nothing like a setup also. I just see the charts on that 5 minute time frame on MT5 simulator, and then I just place the trades. So it's so handy that I'm always on the trades.
Okay, so you trade purely off your phone, so you don't use like screen
Yeah,
setups or
no
technicals on
screen.
charts, or
I don't even own a screen to like even for so have a lookout for weekends. I just purely trade
Really?
on the screen.
I love that. I love hearing that. It's like, yeah, because like I'm not trying to hone in on it too much, but like you're a very successful trader, within the Blueberry ecosystem, which we love to see. But to do it all just purely off your phone, I think is next level, especially when you are sort of, you were saying, a technical trader as well, because, I always have this joke. It's like the more, there's all these influencers out there, all these educators, and I always joke, the more screens you have, the more profitable you are. You see guys with, you know,
That's
10, 15 screens, all these charts and stuff. And I think it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It's a bit of a flex. I understand it, but I don't think there's anything
that's
inherently in that's going to make you better as a trader. And here we
that's
have
nothing.
you that's trading purely off your phone, to, be hitting sort of some really solid payouts. So it's sort of something I love to see. I think a lot of traders out there would be happy to see that, because around, by our math, 60% of trades are placed off phones these days, and it gets bigger every single year. So, you see all these guys out there thinking, I need this huge setup, I need all these screens, all these different indicators, but success can be found with, through simplicity. Again, less is more, not just in the trading,
Yeah,
but in the actual tech that you're using to trade as well.
yeah. Less is more anytime. And we talk of influencers, like, yeah, there are a few legit, but the most of the places like scamsters, there are hefty scamsters, that the setups they show like 50 screens or like multiple screens and all. Everything is for like paid courses. And I believe there is nothing a paid course could make you profitable with. I don't
So
believe
you've
that
never used
is,
paid courses in like
no,
your
no, no,
career as a
no.
trader?
I don't even like that thing. I don't believe that.
Well, and it's a good point, because I mean, look, I think that, personally, I do think there are some good educators out there. There are some good courses, but they're hard to find because it's in a sea of, as you're saying, terrible
Yeah.
courses and people who don't know what they're doing, or I think people like the assurance it's coming from someone who they deem to be in a position of somewhat authority or knowledge. But at the end of the day, you pay for these courses and you look at them and you're like, I could have learned this for free on YouTube, or even these days, ChatGPT or some AI could teach you what a lot of these courses have to offer. So, and it's hard as a trader to sift through the 99% of fakes, of basic advice that they feel like they have to pay for when they can just learn it for free. So I think
Yeah.
you're definitely hitting on some truth there.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for the thing, and they're no good. I mean, in my opinion, most of them are no good. Like those influencers, I mean, no one trades live. Only two or three influencers I know. They in the space they trade live. They're legit. I mean, one or two I know. Not everyone is a scamster. Not everyone is a bookie. Like I said, there are a few genuine persons. But when you are trying to sell a course, why don't you trade live? Why don't you show everyone your skills on the real market? So
I think we definitely see a lot different results from them if they were forced to do
yeah,
it live. But I guess on that, like I was saying, it's a predicament I think a lot of new traders and people looking to learn out there, run into. What would your advice be for people on how do you tell the good educators apart from the bad ones, or how do you avoid people that are just selling you junk ultimately when it comes to courses, education, mentorships, etc.?
you can't you have to be in the space to realize that you can't just tell this one is fake. This is maybe they are the course whosoever is selling the course, maybe he might be profitable, but I mean, if someone is making $1,000 a day on a 100K real account, that is like just 1%, and that is not, I would say, profitable as they appear them as they like showcase themselves. I mean, you can't flaunt a Bugatti or a Lambo on a 1K profit daily. I mean, like supporting your lifestyle over that. So if you have like a really huge account, you can't just show a small profit, and so you should like show a reasonable profit on a account of your size also, and you should trade live. If anyone has to like really make sure that the influencer or the trader they are following is really worth it, they should trade live either on week.
So live
I mean,
trading,
not every day,
live
but yeah,
trading.
live things, live trades, live analysis. That's only gonna help. That is
Awesome.
the
So
only
live
way to.
trading, if they do live trading, that's something people should be on the lookout for. And it makes
Yeah,
sense. You can't have more proof than them showing them doing
yeah,
it in real time, with a chart in front of them, and you can see the trades happening. And that's a great
yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, the 1% a day fallacy is always an interesting one. We always joke about, back when I was on the broker side, because you would see like so many influencers and people saying you just need to make 1% a day and you can be wealthy.
Yeah.
And it's like, 1% a day is like
Can't be
to
like
do
that. No.
consistently is insanely hard, not possible. I
Yeah,
would dare
yeah.
say it is not even possible to do consistently. So it's
It's very,
always
very
an
difficult.
ongoing joke I have with other people in the broker space and here in the office. Yeah, when people say just make 1% a day, again, if your goal is to make 1% in a trading day and do that sparingly and make some good picks, that's one thing. But to say just continuously make 1% a day, I mean, yeah, if only it was that easy, because it's very much not.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
100%. It's
That's
100% impossible to make 1% a day continuously. I definitely agree with that, and I think anyone promising that traders should be aware of or weary of if they're seeing that. And definitely, filtering by people that are doing live trading as well, I think is very sound advice, just to see a bit more evidence out there. Again, not the be all and end all, but generally speaking, it's a good sort of litmus test for people to see, who really can deliver on what they say they can do and those who can't.
Yeah.
But I guess bringing it back to you, I mean, what's your goal in trading, and where do you want to be in the next few years with trading? Is it something you're going to dive into more full time? Are you using it to sort of enable you to do other things in life? What's sort of your game plan when it comes to prop payouts, trading, and everything like that?
Yeah, my goal is to be dive into the space full time, and I'm really looking for more prop firms, and I really like to get more funded. We are more funded accounts on the way to more prop firms, and also build up a hefty real account too.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I guess when it comes to real accounts, we can definitely help you out on that, being a broker and a prop firm.
Yeah, I checked out your Blueberry markets.
Yeah, it's exciting times. So I guess, what is your goal in trading, and where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Are you looking to go further into trading, do it full time, or is trading enabling you to do something else in your life?
Well, the goal is to make money, get more funded, clear more accounts, and bag a hefty real account, real dollars, not just prop firms, and diversify funds, not just into these virtual assets, some real assets too, like properties and stuff. That's
fantastic.
The goal.
And yeah, I mean, and that's good to see too, because I think it's good, obviously we're running a prop firm here. The prop product is of a lot of value to traders, and we back that. But it's good to see traders look for other avenues, a way to expand their financial investing or trading knowledge as well. It's why we launched last month our prop to broker payouts. If people are used to our trading conditions, they want to continue trading, we give the ability to do that through Blueberry, which is fully licensed brokerage as well, which a few traders have started to take us up on, which is exciting to see. So again, I think in terms of your pathway, your journey, I mean, when it comes to, moving from prop trading to live trading, it's something we're here to help you out on, and we'd really like to see you get to that stage as well, or any trader for that matter.
I'll be definitely checking you out over there. Or Blueberry markets, I'll be checking you out.
I love it. I guess we can use that for the follow-up next time we do another interview. It would be great to see how you've gone in the journey from prop trader to live account trader on Blueberry as well. Awesome. So I guess just to finish off for our final question, is there any last points that you'd want to let traders know about? Any advice, anything you're looking forward to in your trading?
As for advice, I already told you, anyone who would be watching this would be maybe a trader and maybe a funded trader, maybe looking to pass a funded account, clear stages. So I already had my advice, take as small lots as possible, and always keep in mind the rules. That's what makes up for evaluation. You pass the accounts, you even make up to funded stage. Now you have made profits and awaiting payouts, and then you get a rule violation. So you have to keep all the rules in mind. People they often skip the rules. So skip the rules, and even when you are in profit, I mean, you just neglect some rules. You neglect sometimes. So you should keep in mind that rules must be followed. You must I have a set of rules written on a notepad. So whenever I have to execute a trade, I just take a frisk look at it. I'm like, okay, then all these are followed. A few minimum, the news rule. So I have to check it on Forex Factory. Is there any red folder news? No, and then it's a go. Then the minimum duration, I just take it for, okay, then it should be 120 seconds. Okay, I just put up a stopwatch that it should be this. So that's what basically the major rules are, and you have to go back by that.
We understand different prop firms have different rules, and we may not be the prop firm for everyone if the strategy can't work with our rules, which is completely understandable. So it's for your benefit as well that we have those up there, to help incentivize and encourage long-term sustainable trading. So look, Shaarif, it's been really great to sit down and talk to you. You've been killing it on the payout side. Love to sit down with you in another few months to check in on where you're at with payouts. Hopefully getting into a Blueberry live account as well would be really exciting. And yeah, thank you for your time today. I'm really thinking traders are going to enjoy this and get a lot out of the advice you have to offer.
Thanks, Marcus, and I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you very much.